So today, my father passed away from a drug overdose, and I'm processing it. We weren't very close. He had never been around in my life, and I would hear from him, every couple of years. He'd been in and out of prison, and he and my mom had me at a very young age, so they didn't have any connection. Really, after I was born, um, I think I met him the first time when I was 12, and then every 5 years after that. And then when my mom passed away, I didn't have any contact with him or really any parent at all. So mostly being raised by my grandmother and my uncle. Um, so we just wanted to talk about like death of parents, loved ones, really parents, because we both have had a huge loss. Like I mentioned earlier, I lost my mother when I was 16, and today I lose my father, who I wasn't close with at all, but nonetheless, he is, my other parent. Lee is
Well,
lost
I lost my dad.
when he was 9. And so,
I mean, how you feeling though? I mean, how do you feel?
how do I feel? I don't know if I feel. Um, I don't know. I guess I'm trying to process it. Like, you guys ever knew someone that you knew that they were related to you, but you didn't have a relationship with them? So them passing away, you didn't really feel much. And I don't know if it's because I'm still processing it, um, or if I'm supposed to feel more and I'm not feeling more. I don't even really know. It's almost like a stranger has passed away. Um,
Yeah, it's kind of hard to like really. Like I don't know. Like for me, when you told me about it, I didn't really know how to even feel because it's like we don't really know him, or we didn't really know him
yeah,
other than like the name, So it's kind of like hard to be like. It's kind of hard to be sad.
yeah, it is hard to be sad. I think that
Just more like makes you think.
makes you think more. So losing my mom was very, very traumatic. And I think it being so traumatic, everything else kind of falls under that. And I was actually talked to my brother today. He's saying that the loss of our mother was so great. And anytime anybody else in the family passes away, it's under that because that pain was so great, because she was a single mom who raised us. So I think I need time to process it, to kind of figure out if I do have any feelings. But what's interesting is that he called me and my sisters about a month ago around the same day, and he never calls. So I missed his call, but I made it a point to call him back when I could, because I always believe if somebody who you don't hear from ever calls you and you never really hear from them and they call you, either answer or at least call them back, because you never know when the last time you'll hear from them or you'll speak to them. And the same thing happened for my grandfather last July. So I don't know how I feel right now. Can we talk about your?
No, I mean what you just said though is actually kind of like when my grandmother died, it was the same thing. Like she called me, but I didn't like answer, and that's like probably one of my regrets I have in life, because it was like I look back and I'm like, yeah, we weren't necessarily on the best terms at that time, but it didn't matter as much, And
Right.
it's really think like, wow, man, like that would have been the last time that I talked to her when I was like upset.
Yeah.
And it just kind of goes to tell you, like, man, like, none of that stuff that matters, man. Like, you gotta forgive people, and you have to get over the things that you can, and then really more so for yourself
Yeah.
too. Like you can hate someone your whole life, and it's really gonna mess up your relationship, I guess, in the sense of your mind and the peace you have.
Do you
And yeah,
do you feel like you had hate, like, towards their grandparent for?
I think it was more so her relationship with my mom. Like, I mean,
Okay.
which they end up. It's funny. She called my mom after she called me, and they end up having like they talked for hours, and my mom didn't know it was the last time they talked. So, for them, they were able to kind of resolve like everything. Like they hashed out everything that they had ever had a problem with. So I'm glad my mom got that closure, because I mean, it was my grandparent, but at the same time, it's not. It wouldn't have hit me the same as if it was my mom.
Yeah.
Like that would have been devastating for me.
Yeah.
Or even with my dad, like that was very devastating for me because he was murdered.
Yeah.
And so it's like he was taken from me, and I was very, very angry
Yeah.
all the time.
You're like 9, right?
I was 9, yeah, I was 9. And, you know, I'm not gonna go into the details for the
I understand. How do you
but
think that anger like carried on with you through childhood into adulthood?
I mean, I got in a lot of fights. I
Okay.
definitely got in a lot of fights when I was younger. I got involved with the wrong crowds because you know you lost that. You know, you lose your male figure. You lose the person that I guess really was the example for you. Cause, and I'm sorry, mom, if you listening, but the men in our family, they just ain't that great. Like it's just not that great. So just keep it real. You know, because granted, none of them had dads. You know, so they don't know how to be a man either. So it kind of made me feel like, oh man, like, you know, people would be envious of me growing up because I had a father, and I felt like, oh man, I felt so special having a dad, being being younger. Because again, being in the neighborhoods I was growing up in, and the people I knew, they didn't have that, so it made me feel special. And then it was like, now I'm like everyone else. Like that was taken from me, and it like just kind of just made me just like want to fight and just like let out that anger all the time. So I don't know. I don't know if I've fully resolved in that, to be honest with you. I don't think you can. I think you just kind of learn to live with it, which I think maybe the same for you and your mom. I can't say I've ever really got over it, and I still feel like there's days where I'm like I'm grasping for this connection or something that he left behind,
Yeah.
and it's just not, you know, it's nothing that I can. There's nothing.
That's so funny. You say you're grasping for this connection that he left behind. So like I told you guys, the relationship with my father wasn't great. You know, we didn't hate each other. Alina, what's going on? No, you don't need a bonnet. Go on to bed.
That's just an excuse to get out of bed.
Good night. Love you.
Y'all see what we have to deal with?
Love you. See you in the morning.
Yeah. Love you.
So that makes it better, right?
She is down here talking.
Yeah.
That was actually a perfect interruption. I felt myself getting kind of emotional.
Yeah.
So that kind of that kind of broke it up. So yeah, that's y'all haven't seen her much, but that's our only daughter.
That's our 4-year-old, our only daughter. But anyway, longing for that connection because Lee's father passed away, and so my father's been in and out of prison, and in the last couple of months, I would say over the course of the last year, I think I've reached out to him in text messages, hey, just checking on you. Because I think like the little girl in me still longed for that relationship.
Right.
And so it was almost like I felt like I was giving him a lot of chances to engage in a relationship. But I feel like he wasn't able to socially do that because, you know, he was incarcerated from age 17 in and out. And I think he was really institutionalized and really couldn't, you know, didn't have the social skills, I think, to be able to build or work towards building a relationship with me or any of his kids at all. So, yeah, he passed away with drug overdose. He was found, you know, in a hotel room, and that's what happened. So,
I don't know, man.
you know what to say, right?
I don't know
what to say either.
I know losing a parent is not easy. I think we probably have a lot of listeners who've lost parents, you know, or lost loved ones that they really care about. And it's like a piece of you like dies with them, in a sense. But it's like
that is huge. A piece dies for real. Like I feel like I told you guys earlier, my brother was saying that, you know, the greatest loss that we had was our mother because she was really our everything. So anytime someone after that passed away, we just didn't really feel it as much. Like it was, we just didn't because that was the greatest pain. And so, you know, just a little bit of that story. I was 16 and my mom was in and out of the hospital. And it's so funny. Like when you find out someone passed away, you remember where you are, what you were watching, the time of day. Mm-hmm. Like I remember I was watching Baby Boy and I was in my
Jody.
I was in my room and then my uncle came in because he was back and forth at the hospital and he was like, y'all, she's gone. And like I just remember running out of the room and like it was just so many emotions. My brother was crying, my sister was crying, and it impacted us, my sister and brother and myself for years, even to this day. I mean, for my brother, it really hit him mentally, emotionally, to where he, you know, disappeared for a couple years. So, it was huge. So to top that, man, I can't even imagine that pain, you know.
Yeah, honestly, and I don't even want to think about it, but I think the only thing that would top my dad would be just my mom.
Yeah.
And I think mostly because like she's been around now my whole life. He left younger, and I can't even like imagine. I don't even want to imagine because like that's all I got left really on my like side of the family.
So
So I can imagine that, but you know,
I do wish he and I had a closer relationship because he didn't really get to meet his grandchildren. He met our oldest son when he was like 6 months, but he's 15 now. But he never really got to meet them. You know, he only was able to see them through social media pictures, and I don't know, we just didn't have a relationship.
yeah.
So, um,
Yeah, I mean, I guess we should end on a positive note, right? Like, so we should end on a positive note.
so the positive note is that he was a believer in Christ. And I'm hoping that. And I say that because I saw his post and I could tell that it looked like he was battling with the world, the spiritual world, and the cardinal world. That's the word, right?
Sure.
Yeah, he would post different kinds of things about God online. And I think, I want to say, or I hope that he was saved and is in heaven. So that is a positive note. And he did call me a month before he passed away. So about a month ago, I did get to talk to him.
And another thing is that, you know, in the end, like it's saddest for us who get left behind, right? You know, but like for my dad, like, I know he was a believer. I know he's in a better place, free from illness, sickness, pain, and sugar cravings. You know,
Yeah.
he's free from all this, the struggle on this earth. But I know that, you know, I'm sure if it was up to him, he would be here, and I know that he still smiles down on me. So we'll see him again.
Yeah.
We'll see him again. Yeah, but look, pray for anyone who's ever had a loss, and they pray for us. And yeah, that's it.
Man.